Howdy folks, time once again to do a retro CSS battle, CSSBattle.dev, terrific challenges of code golf. The task is to replicate these shapes using HTML and CSS, and I love doing them, and I've recorded many of them as doing them in real time. Some I do right when they come out, and these are ones that I do that were in the past, that I've already done, but I try to look at them with fresh eyes. So here's the 14th of September 2023, the 15th with a rare gradient, with a rare gradation, and then the 16th, which is zigzaggy business. All right, let's do it. Pretty straightforward until you get to the curves. This one, I'll start with margins on this element to get the background, and then we got to figure out what we need to do about those curves, which are, they don't look like curves that we can really do, and yet probably we can. 282, those are the margins to begin with. 130, 40, 50, 60. Okay. So how do we do those curves? Those are extreme curves, and they imply a great big circle, right? Like, those are curves that look like they're part of a circle that's very tall. So can we do this with an ellipse? We might be able to do this with an ellipse, but the fact that they're perfectly parallel, it's a little worrisome. So let's do we'll start with a radial gradient, and I guess I won't do the. I don't know. Let's just see what we get if we do orange, and then transparent, right, and then the orange, and then transparent, and then the orange again. Those are our colors, right? And then I guess we need an at. So it's at 50%, and then, like, I don't know, 100. It's the center of that circle is way down. So I'm going to use the view height unit. I'm going to say 200 view height. And that's what we get. So there's our crazy curve. So what if we do a circle at? That's in the ballpark. Now the question is, what numbers do we need here? Can we use percentages? And what is it any different if we do ellipse? Yeah, so an ellipse is going to adhere to the rough shape of the element, or at least to the box, to the bounds of the background. And okay, so let's do circle again. And I'm going to use percentages here. I'm not sure if that's a great idea. I'm going to say like 80%. And that's okay. 0, 90%. 0, actually, let's do less extreme numbers. 80, 85, 0, 90%, 0, 95%, 95%, and 0. And that's not bad. It's not done. So the question is that circle far enough away? Because you don't size a circle, right? It's really just about, I mean, a circle, if you've got a radiant gradient, it's going off into infinity, right? That you're going to have concentric circles just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So somewhere on this circle there is, we think, a circle that makes sense for. So if we make it go a little further down, 1, 2, Ugh. Yeah, there's going to be math here. All right, so let's adjust those numbers. Let's go back to 200, and then let's adjust these numbers. 81, 79, 80, 81. Actually, 80 seems kind of right. How about 82, 83, 84, 83, and then 86, and then 89. Not bad. And then what if we increase this number a little bit? The irregularity of those shapes is slightly disturbing. So let's use math. We're going to set a var, and we're going to say, how do we do this? Let's say a minimum of, call it basis. Basis is a little bit of an overloaded term in CSS. Flex basis is a thing around which the size of elements in a flex context gets sized, I believe, I think I'm saying that right. Okay, so calc var basis, and then let's decide the interval. Okay, so then the interval, the I, I'm going to call that 3%. And then that is calc var -b plus var I. I need a closing parens. Okay. And so this is that plus 2 of those. We'll call that j. And this is plus 3 of those. We'll call that k. And then I will very lazily do j is calc of var I times 2, and k is calc of I times 3. Okay, so now we can play with the numbers, huh? So now when we adjust that number, we get a different look. So that's too big, I think, is what we see there. So that's too far away. So let's go back to 200. 200 view height. And let's use pixels now. 200 view height would be 600 pixels. What if we do 400 pixels? That's kind of interesting. It feels like we're getting into the ballpark. So let's go to 70, and then 5. Okay. How about 300 pixels? What's that look like? Is that better? No, that's more extreme, isn't it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 400, 450, 500. 500 is looking kind of good. Let's increase these numbers a little. 74. 74. 76, and then like 2, 3, 4, 5, 4.5, 3.5, 3.8. Getting closer. How about 4? How about 4 again? Increase that number. 4, 3, and then 3. Closer, right? Like that's not horrific, but it's not 100%. That wiggle that we see when we do it just indicates. So yeah, we're at 99.8%, and that's okay, but it is not 100%, which tends to be the goal for these. I haven't been able to get to 100% on all of them. I think I've got 2 of ones that I've done recordings for that I've not gotten to, and there's several others that I will eventually encounter again that I never got to 100% on. This is a thing that does occur. Not fallible. So not fallible. I'm not infallible. Yeah, however you say that. I can't do everything. Okay. Slightly troubling that the error there is irregular. So I think it needs to be bigger again. So let's go by 10. Ah, that's not bad. Okay, so 5, 6, 7. I'm going to resubmit. Still not there, but better. $99.9. How about an even number? What happens if we do 25? And then let's dial these numbers back. Keeps getting slightly better. Not a lot better, but a little better. That looks pretty good, actually. 8. I'm just going to keep submitting doggedly, resubmitting until I get to 100%. I suppose you could fast forward this video to see whether I get there. I do have a 100% solution for this one. So maybe I'll give up getting this done in this particular way. We're going to find out. All right. So there, I'm making alterations to. Yeah, so I'm going to go for a bigger swing here. And 78. 75, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. And then Now, is it possible that this circle is different, is actually the same circle twice, and so I need, even though I'm focused on these sizings, what I need to do is have two of them that are at different at values. That's possible. I don't remember how this one worked, but the fact that I get closer on the first one and then can't get the second maybe is an indicator, because this one's radius just is just not quite doing it right. Okay, so if that's true, that means if I do this, we'll do a second one. And that's transparent, and so what matters then so I think that means I have to do this, and I have to do this, and this needs to be transparent. So I'm creating a way for me to use both of these gradients. Solid underneath, the solid colors, and then an additional color on top. So this one is closer. And that screws with using percentages, doesn't it? Yes, it does. And that's going to alter the curve. So that means using percentages is a problem. I was hoping to be able to use percentages, and it's just not working out. Yeah. So that's the problem there. All right. So if that's the case, if that is the case, let's make this 400 pixels. Okay. So conceptually, I'm in the right zone there. So let's do 300 pixels is our basis. Maybe 350. All right, so let's play with that as pixels. And I guess we don't need, we no longer believe in that K variable. We don't need it. And we don't need the J variable either. There's our stripes. That already feels a little better, right? Like the error is just a little more reasonable. Okay. So the distance between these two needs to be a little different. 4, okay. That's 4, 4. And the heights of these might be a little wrong. How about 20? And then let's move these numbers again. So we're just trying to adjust these numbers so that we can get a handle on them. That's not bad. So let's say, actually it's the at value that needs to be played with. So these numbers are correlated. The 340 here and the 440 have a relationship. Call that D, and right now it's 100 difference. So let's say var b calc var b plus var d. And then let's call this one, that was 100. And this one is calc var b plus calc of var d minus calc minus var I and minus var I. Will that work? Can I do more than one operand? Okay, so yeah. So then if I move this, sure seems to be moving a little. All right, so let's see what that looks like. Ah, there we go. So 3, 2, 3, 4. Oh, ho, 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 ho. There we go. Okay. Let's submit that and see. .9, but the error looks more correct. The error is more consistent across both curves. Always is the way to say that. Harder to see the particular thing. That looked pretty good. That actually looks good for one of the curves. Which one is good? That one's bad, so this one is incorrect. All right. So that number needs to be what? 100 pixels. Plus 70. Let's submit that and see. No. But conceptually, I'm on the right track. All right, let's see. What do we need to do here? Ah. Oh, that's better. That suddenly got better. That's 100% match. Okay, so now I need to unpack all these numbers. Okay, so we got a match, and we're happy. So that means, so yes, this gradient is very particular, right? But there's a lot of math that we now need to go back in. So var b is 420, 420, 420. In fact, we can do var D and then do a replace all. Okay. And then var I is 20 pixels. Var I is 20 pixels. And then var D and then, alright, we still have, everything is still working. So 420 plus 70 is 490. And 420 plus 20 is 440. And 420 is just 420. And 420. And this is 440. And this is what? 150 minus 20 minus 20 is 110. Still all correct. And then this is 420 plus, so that is 530. 530. 530. There it is. Okay. And I think we learned that we can variabilize some of this. So we're going to variabilize these color stops. I think that's going to work. I hope it's going to work. I sure do. So I can do, there it is. So I can replace that and then resubmit just to make sure. You might think I'm paranoid. No, I'm not paranoid. All right. Nope, that's a, oh wait, so there it is, which I didn't do. So what happened there? So that one works, and this one doesn't. What am I doing? 420. Oh, because why? It's transparent over, so that means that I need a color underneath. So it did work, just not the way I thought. So each one of these represents a stripe that covers the rest of the body, that covers the background. All right, so let's minify and unit replace. I don't think there's any units to replace. And we submit and we're done, I believe. And that's a new high score. So that's pretty great. Pretty great. I'm pleased that we were able to accomplish that, or I was able to accomplish that. I feel like you're along for the ride. All right, so that was September the 14th, 2023. Let's do this gradient. I don't think we need an element. It sure seems to be to start with a conic gradient, right? Which will be 270 degrees. And then like that. I think this is linear and not anything else. So let's do linear gradient. To this. So yes, I think it is linear. So because if we did this, so I'm going to put this as the second number. Oh, that's not, wait, no. Not what I meant to do. Yeah, so there's a, if you do the color, then the conicness, not sure that's a word, comes through. And so this is definitely a linear gradient back there. So let's do, this is transparent. So now it's about the color stops. I think this means this has to be like at 25%. 1%, 25%. That's interesting. So let's adjust this number, huh? Let's try that. Not a lot of gradients in these. We're at 85%. Hilarious. Do we need an element? I feel like this must have been done with an element because it's sort of impossible to detect. How about 50? Maybe that's more reasonable. Genuinely curious how do we get there. Okay. How about I remove that number? So yeah, so if this is from top to bottom, that's 100%. Okay, so let's minify and unit replace and get the heck out of here because gradients are scary, right? Like, how do you know whether you've completely aligned the gradient? That's a better score. So, and I guess I don't need the margins, do I? No, so it's even better. And just for flourish, I will remove the closing brace on the CSS rule, even though that also feels a little dirty to remove that. It's no longer, it's not going to validate in the W3C validator of CSS, and I can just sort of feel that CSS being incorrect. But still, we got it done. Oh, and then this can be 75%. So there's even more tuning we can do on that particular thing. All right, cool. And let's do this last one. I definitely feel like for this one, there's just a funny aspect to it. This is a border, right? It's like this. We've got a plenty, you know. Let's see. So border, 20 pixels solid, something like that. And then if we set heights and widths on it, then we can get there. I'm not even going to bother with margins. So if I make it taller or make it wider, 200, 200, 1, 2, 2, and then taller, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 151, 52. So that's the start of it. And then if we do a second one, we need to move it into place with, I think margins is the right way to go here. Margin minus 200. Where's that going? Sorry for making your eyes bleed with that red. So minus 100. 120, and then we need a number over here to move it over. Because so this is part of my do the hard thing first, and it feels like the hard part is definitely these zigzags. I do find myself wondering, well, what would the conic gradients to get here be? And yeah, that would be fun. But I know that it would be more code. And part of the challenge of Code Golf is to do it as tersely as possible. So this is this is pretty good. So let's get that circle in the background. So that's a radial gradient. Yes, it is. And then a purple. And it's got to be a circle. And we get a square. Why? Because it perfectly constrains. There we go. So now let's adjust this number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. And that's how we do it. That looks like it's a match, and we'll accept that match. Terrific. Let's minify. And do we need both those numbers? We do. Why? Because those margins are affecting the overall size. So without all of those numbers, including the margins on the second element are altering the flow and making the page bigger, which means that the circle, which is currently in the center of the body, is obliged to move downward, and in this case, because it's percentage based, get a little bigger. So let's resubmit, and I think we're done. Thanks so much for following along on this guy. It's certainly a lot of fun. A lot of fun. This particular set from all the math we had to do to get this guy right. Pretty great. All right, and then the gradient is always scary to deal with. I believe there is an undone gradient one that is particularly vexing, that I've done many submissions and can't get it right, or haven't gotten it right. When I get to that one, if you're following along, you'll get to see me flail and swear at the code. All right, have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.